Good morning. Oh, better turn that down before I get that straight back at me with all sorts of things. Because you sound really weird, don't you, when you come through?
It's all echoey and...
Well, it's not just that, but you don't sound how you think you sound.
No, that's true.
When you hear your voice. It's very strange. I shall start talking like this instead. And then I certainly won't sound like my normal self. Good morning, anyway. How are you? It's horrible weather here. Ugh. So perfect weather to be in and sewing. That's what I say.
Perfect.
Yep. Perfecto. It's not just me, it's Jane today. She's keeping her distance over there. But she'll be here in just one moment, which is all excellent news. Hey Jane, did you see that we've had a new delivery of these come in?
Oh yes.
Ooh, these will be loaded up on the show today. They came in and went and flew out quicker than quickety quick. So if you fancy getting, they're so easy, aren't they?
They're just really useful to have.
Have you seen, I don't know if everyone's seen these actually. There's us talking about stuff I haven't even shown you. I've had these for years now and they're spring loaded. So the only effort is shutting them and then they spring back open. I unpick stuff with these half the time because they're super. I've got, hang on. Whilst we're talking about that, I've just had a little message from SJ who is, you know when they do the national lottery, Jane?
Yes.
And they have like the official adjudicators.
Yes.
And stuff like that. Well, that's kind of SJ for our competitions.
Yes.
So we have competition winners for those. So she says I've got to tell everybody, our competition winners today, drum roll please, and we'll send like a message. Oh, look at that. We've got sound effects and everything. Hang on, I've just got to come off Facebook. Where did she send it? It's a good job she remembered because I've completely forgotten about that. Right. Oh, you've got to email us. So, can you, Danielle Reed, congratulations! Yay! And Carol Evans, congratulations! Can you email info@natashamakes.com, please, so that we can get an address and send your Liberty box of goodness to you. Oh, yes.
We're not at all jealous.
No. The boxes are beautiful, aren't they?
Gorgeous.
Really lovely. Shall we see who's with us this morning? Before we get carried away, we've got Rebecca and Pam, good morning, and Sharon and Jan and Leanne, hello, and Dawn and Helen, and 9 others. No, there are more. And Amanda and Michelle, hi. Elizabeth and Rona, good morning, and Gail and Helen and Jan, good morning, and Jacqueline, hello, and Leslie and Heather and Margaret, good morning, and Dawn, and Anne and your mum, and who else have we got? Joanna, good morning, and Claire, who's looking forward to this, and Sarah. I always find this really confusing. In the UK, we have Sarah as an option,
yes.
But in the States, they spell Sarah without an H, but they don't have a Sarah option. So anyone without an H is still Sarah, right?
They just like to confuse us, don't they?
Yeah. But I still want to say hello, but it's rude when you get people's names wrong.
Yes.
Isn't it? Oh, I just don't know. Morning. Hi, everyone. It's horrible in Wigan. A great day to stay in and sew, says Karen, who's probably sewn at least 3 dresses this morning. Did you see her latest?
Oh, it's just stunning.
In Tula Pink.
Yeah.
With the most incredible shoes that were absolutely spot on. Just, you know, to go to Morrison's.
Yeah, I should do.
I mean, I'm lucky if I get out of my pyjamas
to
go anywhere, to be fair. I put a pair of jeans on today, kind of wish I hadn't. Good morning from a wet and misty St Breward.
Ooh, where's St Breward?
St Breward is in Cornwall. Ooh. And I used to live between St Breward and Blisland, right in the middle of the moor.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah. So, Linda, you'll know where I used to live. You know where the campsite is? There's a South Penquite campsite. We were past there and round just by the quarry. Like we were down nearly a mile of unmade track.
Nice.
Through a ford, over a few cattle grids.
Lovely when it snows.
It doesn't really that much in Cornwall.
Not down there.
You got a lot of storms.
Yes.
The views were stunning. And I was pregnant. And I think Freddie was 2 weeks late because he was so used to hanging on down the bumpy track. That's my theory. Probably I wouldn't go to anyone in the NHS with that theory.
No, an obstetrician might disagree with you there.
I wanted to have a home birth, and the midwife had a little VW up, and she was terrified because Freddie's January baby, his birthday's next week,
Yeah.
and I was Mrs. McCarty. I'm not actually Mrs. Makes, despite what all the delivery guys think. And say, has she had that baby yet? Has she had that baby yet? In the end, I had to be induced, but I wanted that home birth, and they were terrified they'd be washed away down the. Trying to drive through the Ford to get to us. Oh, I like to make life easy for people. I do not like these jeans there. They're not sitting happily. Maybe it's a bit of lockdown lard going on. Right. Anyway. I've got a few little heads up for you. We have nearly sold out of the Moda Super Wide 108 backing fabric, which
I very helpfully tied it away.
Jane's tied it away. Amazing. No, it's all
Sorry.
right. No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. If you just want to go in the kitchen and do a bit around there, that'd be really great.
I wouldn't mind. I love your kitchen.
It's a bit of a mess. And what else was I going to say? Oh, right. This is the big news for today. We had someone email us, and we thought, hang on, well, why don't we do this for somebody else? And obviously the Tilda Woodland collection is about to be shipped. It's leaving the warehouse on the 15th, so that's Friday. So we should have it Saturday, Monday, probably by the latest. Which means that if you would like to pre-order, and we're just doing this on the complete collection, if you would like to pre-order the complete collection, we'll throw in buttons for free, and you can get that, so you'll be the first to get the whole lot. So that would be 20 half meters if you want the complete collection, because we have had people asking us for it and saying, could you just put it to one side? And we thought, well, look, if we're going to do it for one, we will offer it out to anyone who just wants the whole collection, and they don't want to have to go through a website clicking half a meter of this and half a meter of that. If you want the full shebang, it works out £150 for the full 20 half meters. That's 10 meters of fabric. It is beautiful, and that is being loaded onto the website. Now, for this collection, what Tilda has also done, Tuna is so clever, she's put the most beautiful chambres.
Ooh.
Now, they are actually slightly more expensive than the patterned fabrics, but they are just divine, and we've got 10 of those that go beautifully. So rather than your normal plains, she's put chambres with these. They are exquisite. They're not quite as heavy as the doll making one, but they're just beautiful chambres. So if you would like those as well, I've done them separately. So if you would like the 10 chambres that go with the Woodland collection, they are also being loaded this morning as we speak, so that you can pre-order those. But you know what Tilda's like, you know the colourways that she uses, they blend within all of the other what have yous. So do yeah, just if you want to, then good. Right, the other thing that I wanted to do was just to introduce, because we have new viewers all the time, introduce you to our half meter heavens. Now these will go live at midnight tonight. It happens every Thursday at midnight, like the morning midnight, not the night midnight. Wednesday midnight, Thursday morning midnight.
12:01 or 0001.
Yes, that. Jane's so right. And you can, so they go on sale then. It's a half meter of your pattern and a half meter of your plains. We will always, going forward, make sure that we write the exact name of the plain for you, because at some point we will introduce all of these plains cut to order. That is coming. So that if you've got a plain that you like, just make a note of what name it was that you bought with that, or go back into your account history and see what it was that you purchased, and then you'll be able to order more. That is coming. It's gonna, we stock 75 different planes, so it's gonna take us a little while, you know, to load that. But it means we've always got the right colour for the job. Right. Check this out. Ha! Ooh. So these will go live tonight. We have already on the website, obviously we still have Half Meter Heavens on the website for you. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to pop these on the mat. The cat's there on the mat. This is a Philip Jacobs. You have to excuse my sticker, but I need to know how many I've got, you see. There you go. Ba-ba! So this is Philip Jacobs of Snow Leopard, so his own one. And we've got 10 of these, and it is with magenta. That is magenta. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Whee! So we'll whiz through these, and this is just because sometimes we try and make the photography as great as we can, but I thought, you know what, I never actually show these on air. People just have to remember to look, and that's sometimes not okay for everyone. So here we go. This is going to be loaded again at midnight tonight, as our Half Meter Heavens always are. This is another Philip Jacobs. We had this pattern in a different colourway last week. Just Divine, and my sticker somewhere is down there. So this is, I still can't pronounce it, but this is Baltic with it. Doesn't it work a treat? This is one of my favourite parts of my job, is matching the colours and seeing which ones pop. Because it's not just a matter of going, oh, there's a bit of that colour in there, I'll just pick it. I audition the colours and go, and as soon as that hit that, I was like, well, that pops, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We'll have a bit of that in our lives. Oh, Three Sisters. If you love your traditional, and I've put, now this is, it's exactly the same cotton as with plain, but it's a natural seeded cotton. So it's a bit more organic-y feeling.
It's a bit more like, it's not like calico in texture, but it's got that calico feel
that
to
natural
it.
look. Yeah, so that's the natural look. It's exactly the same quality cotton as all the others, but it just picked up that colour in there. It was perfect for it. Absolutely perfect, because otherwise you're going to be going, is that white, is that cream, is that vanilla, is it what is it? It's this. It's exactly this. Job done. We take the stress out of it for you. Fabrics should not be stressful. They should be beautiful and a delight. Just like Jane, should be a delight. I think we've only got one of these left. This was your Lewis and Irene Peacock, but there's only one of them. We obviously were, when we loaded these cut to order on the website, we were obviously conservative in what we loaded, and there was one left over.
It's always handy.
Bit of liberty. And you see, I absolutely adore that teal, but look at it with, now what did I put it with? You see, this is the thing, isn't it? Did that go with ivory in the end? Because sometimes you've got to get that right shade. It's not white. It's ivory. The white was too stark.
Yeah,
you
we put
needed
it with
the
white,
softness.
didn't we? And it was too harsh.
You needed the softness of the ivory. So we've done it for you. It's all there. These go live tonight. Again, I've only got 2 of these. I've only going to have one of these, which is the Flowing Free with magenta. Look at that. Wow, yeah. That'll be on there. Oh, again, I don't know. I must have had a big delivery or something of Philip Jacobs. And I know that you adore him. And this is with Jade. Look at the butterflies on that.
That is so pretty.
Isn't it? Now, I don't normally like yellow, but that lemon on there is just beautiful. It's only because with my skin tone, I can't really wear it. But actually, some of his yellows I do. They're the only yellows. I make an exception for his yellows. Now, this is Dina Designs, who is proving to be incredibly popular for us. And with good reason. Look at that. Everybody, look at that. And then, ooh, hot tomato. And now suddenly look at it. Ping.
Yeah.
Ping, 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 ping.
Beautiful.
We stock about 4 different oranges. And that was the one. Hot tomato was the one. Let me tell you, the one. I love this. This has got a beautiful name, which is Heron Lake. But look at it with your cadet blue. Isn't that elegant?
Just is exquisite.
These are the sorts of fabrics that do not do justice on camera. You just
No, because you can't see the metallic on there, can you?
You
And
can't
it's got
see the
metallic
detail in
accents,
there.
which are just lovely.
I heart this collection so much. When that Lewis and Irene collection came in, we all went, that's one of our favourites. Now, this is Triple Take by Anna Maria Horner. Now, I think these were initially meant to be panels or something, but you've got, I just think they are of interest.
If you're an EPP person,
You've got lots
You've
to
got
play
lots of
with in
colours
there,
there.
haven't you? Lots of little bits or pouches and things to play with. It's a really interesting piece. And again, just $9.99, you're getting your half metre of pomegranate with that one, because you've got some lovely pinks. Look, it goes with that pink there. That was the pink that I chose it to go with. It's gorgeous. We've only got a few of them.
I suppose all pieces will be different, won't they?
Oh,
Slightly?
yeah, they will be slightly different. Just because the pattern repeat was large. Now, you know, I don't know if you were listening to the show the other day, Jane, as you were cutting fabric frantically for us, but do you remember I told you about the sludgy coloured batik that we call lichen?
Yeah.
That we don't just liken it, we love it.
Yes.
And it's here. Look at that.
Works really well with that one.
But it works really well with all the William Morris, with all the traditional ones. This has fast become one of my favourite batiks, and yet to look at it on its own, you'd be like, meh, bit sludgy.
Yeah.
But it is such a fabulous blender, such a brilliant, brilliant blender, and we're coming to the end of that one. I will be sad, bearing in mind how beautiful some of them, rich some of those colours were.
Yeah.
And yet this is one of my favourites.
Yeah, it's a good
so
staple
useful.
because it lets the other fabrics glow, doesn't it?
And doesn't it just? And this looks like it's been stitched. It's beautiful. And I tell you, yeah, you see, it doesn't. Do you see? It just.
Yeah, it does.
It just works. You did that with bright yellow.
Yeah, I did.
And it looked amazing. Actually, not too far off this sort of mustardy colour here. This is from Art Gallery Fabrics. If you've never tried any of our Art Gallery fabrics, give it a go. They write on the side, feel the difference. And it's because of the cotton fibres that they use. Their substrate is beautiful. And it almost feels lawn-like.
Yeah.
It's not, but because of the quality of the fibre, the cotton fibre, it does have that feel. It is gorgeous. This is Pat Bravo. I really like Pat Bravo's work. Really do.
Yeah, I love
Just
the Art
saying.
Gallery fabrics. Like you say, they've got like a silky feel to them.
They've got it
yeah.
right. When they say feel the difference, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
This is one of the Cafe wovens. Now, this was in one of our fusions, the other day. I'm going to talk to you about fusions in a moment. We had a couple left, and it seemed rude not to put it with that.
Perfect.
Just lovely, isn't it?
It's lovely.
Just lovely. And then, of course, throw it with your other Cafes. It's going to be gorgeous. I've got 4 of those, and that's it. Now, maybe you bought some of the Cafe last week, and you wanted some extra of that. But there it is. And you can put that with purple as well. There's purple running through there. There's a grey blue. There's all sorts when you start looking at that. But like I said, I've only got 4 of those. And that's what the half metre heavens were always for. It was a way for us to clear out anything that we had that was left, that we didn't have enough to pop in a project, for you to get a great deal, and also to introduce new designers and see if you like them, because if all the half metre heavens sell out with that designer, I'm going to get more in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like market research for us. It's worked incredibly well. Now, here we go. This is another Dina Designs. This has been flying. We had this in another colourway. It flew. Look at it with that beautiful green. Pink and green together. Gorgeous. 10 of these. It's called Jasmine, and that is with lime. Oh, sounds delicious, doesn't it, Jane?
Yes.
I'm nearly done, by the way. You can take over in a minute. I have got 3 of the William Morris with biscuit. Picking up the colour of the bird. The bird. I've only got 3 of those left. That's it. And then for those of you that wanted some more of the green and missed out, again, I've put this with ivory. There is that softness there.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Just not quite white, is it? It's
So
softer.
no, it is a softer one. So you could make the hanging hanging storage that I made on Monday with that $9.99. Grab yourself some clear plastic. I've also got glitter plastic arriving any day. Woohoo! Because somebody asked me for it. So, you know, I went and bought it for you. It's all there on the website for you. And also we've now got the downloadable pattern for the hanger. It's just on the back of the door, Jane. It's hanging up there. Thanks. This was it in the Liberty. 1/2 meters, 2.5 meters. I'm always being asked, what can I make with my 1/2 meter heavens? This. You just need a fat quarter of your plastic. Sewable plastic, go for your glitter, go for your plain. It's entirely up to you. We've got plenty now. And there it is. And we did it in the green. I've just got to finish off the binding on it. That was it in that green. But you could do it so that this bit, instead of being a different green, was cream, ivory, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to stop talking and move out the way. Hooray, says everyone. About time, about time. Elizabeth was laughing because last week when I was on Ho Chanda, I was there with Jennifer Taylor. We were doing some dressmaking. And at some point I just went, I'm just going to shut up and let you get on with it. She said, I don't think I've ever heard a presenter say that on a show. I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have couched it in quite those terms. Over to you, Jane. I'd
Lovely.
high five you in a sort of relay type way, but you're not allowed.
We'll do it virtually.
Yeah, virtual high five.
High five. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
On this miserably sludgy January morning.
It's all right, it's nice in here.
Perfect for sewing. Right, okay. We're on block 5.
Hooray!
What's happened to block 4? It's on its way when the fabric arrives. First things to say, surprise, surprise, there's a slight error in the pattern. I'm so sorry. I really am sorry. Standing on the machine. Thank you to Mary, who one of
Spotted
many
it.
people actually, but she was the first person to point out the error. So thank you. And I can't thank everybody enough because it's always lovely to know that you're reading the patterns, which is helpful. We do get them proofreaded, but you know, and the thing is, when I'm doing it, when I'm looking at my pattern, I know what I mean and I know what I'm doing, and I quite often go word blind.
I can't, I have to get everybody else to proofread.
Yeah, it's better, more helpful when Gemma does it because she knows
She says
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
For the vigilant of you, you will notice that the image on the front doesn't look anything like the finished block. That's my error. I sent Josh the wrong image. I was doing it like this to start with, but when I looked at the actual quilt, you turn the block slightly on each one, and that would mean you would have to change the direction on here. So I thought that's just a step too far for everybody because you'd end up, because you have to make 8 of these blocks, you'd end up having to make each block slightly different, and it just might tip some
Blow your mind.
some of the newer people that are doing this as maybe their first, second project, just might tip them over the edge slightly. So I changed it to just half square triangles, but forgot to send the right image to Josh. So that's, the image is wrong, but the image in the pattern is right, and it does match the actual block in the quilt,
Hooray!
which is here, this one. And also the cutting instructions, because I was doing it this way, I put blocks, fabric C as a 5 1/4 inch square, and it's a 4 7/8 inch square. Now I know that Sarah just sent everybody an email, but we're also going to put a new image and the amendment for that in with the next block that you receive. It might be block 4, it might be block 6. It depends on whether the fabric arrives.
No,
You will get a block.
Yeah, so just, I know, Jane, that you are a perfectionist, and I know that you, and I really wish you hadn't, I know that you've given yourself a really hard time over this. And I'm just going to say...
I don't like letting people down, and I know that it's frustrating, particularly if you're new to this, that you get a pattern and suddenly it doesn't make any sense.
But we are putting it right.
Yeah.
And when actually, what I didn't realise is that there are, on the internet, there are entire pages of corrections for quilting books.
Yes, I mean it happens.
I didn't realise that.
It does happen.
And I didn't realise the number of corrections that these books have to have. So,
And you quite often in the magazines you'll get the following month you'll get an amendment to something. So
yeah.
it
So
happens,
whilst
we're
it's
human,
not,
aren't we? We're
yeah.
just, these things happen. And yes, I am a bit of a perfectionist. I'm a little bit OCD. And so when something doesn't quite go the way I think it should, or when somebody points out to me, actually that doesn't read right, I'm like, oh my God.
but we
It's
will
all
always
right
put,
when we're in the process of redoing the pattern, that's fine. But when it's all gone out, I'm like, oh no. But you've all been very good about it, so thank you.
and we'll pop a correction sheet in with this block when we send it out now.
So
More
you can,
to the
so,
point.
So you can sort of attach it to your pattern. So if you go back and think, oh, I remember we did a lovely block and I'd like to make that into a cushion, or I'd like to make a quilt with all those blocks, you'll have the physical amendment to put with your pattern for future reference. And I think Siraj is emailing everybody as well that's within the subscription for the block of the month. So you'll double get the correction and the proper image. But that's a nice book.
Geraldine's had a fall.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's morning, ladies. Recovering from my fall yesterday, watching You Can't Think of Anything Nicer, not up to saying today. Geraldine, I hope you're
bless
okay.
You. Take
That's
care,
no
my
good, is
love.
it?
And
Absolutely
thank you
no good.
so much for the beautiful flowers. They really cheered up a dull day, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. We were
Gorgeous.
so
Absolutely
touched.
stunning. Really
Just like
nice.
you wouldn't believe. Now, it's Zara. No, hang on. Sarah. It is Sarah.
It is Sarah.
And that's from both Sarahs, because we've got
Good.
two Sarahs, and this is Sarah Snaggy Fairbank Williams, who's also come back
We
saying,
love
Sarah,
that name. Love
Sarah.
that name. We love that name.
Figure hugging clothes are a winter wardrobe essential. Susie, they weren't figure hugging before lockdown.
We're all like,
They've become figure hugging.
breathe in, breathe in. It's a,
I'll do something
it's just
about
when
it.
everything gets uncomfortable, doesn't it? And you think, oh, I've got to do something now. I really have. And then Natasha makes absolutely gorgeous chocolate truffles and shoves them under your nose, and you're like,
I would just like to say it's because I didn't get to a shop to buy a cake.
Yes.
Because firstly, you wouldn't want to eat a cake that I made, but I do make particularly good truffles. It's something that is
delicious.
not that well known about me.
They are delicious.
Because the trouble is, once people know, they want you to make them all the time.
Yeah, this is what happens.
But I
isn't
made
it?
some for my mum, and because I always make them for my mum's birthday, because the recipe came from her best friend's mum, and when when she died, when Pat's mum died,
Yeah.
but when Mrs. Willis died, her granddaughter gave me the recipe.
Oh, how lovely.
So Mrs. Willis would have always made my mum truffles for her birthday, so I make them. And then I remembered that I could make them, and you'd rather eat those than a cake that I make.
Yeah.
There we go. And Joe says, yes, please, to the chambrays. Thank you. My absolute pleasure. I love that she says, thank you for bringing these. Like it was something difficult for me.
Yes.
I saw them in the brochure and went, I'll have them all. Lots of them, please.
I was with Natasha the other day when one of the fabric reps came, and she was like, yeah, I'll have those, all of them. I was just like, oh, this is lovely. We're just like, ooh, I like those. We've got some lovely things coming. It's just like,
I kind of want them now.
Yes, it's so hard because you see them all now, and we have to wait sort of like,
And then they said they're not going to be here till June. It's like what?
nearly 6 months for the fabric to come. By which time you've chosen another collection, and then you get this box of fabric, and you're like, oh, what's in here? And it's like, oh, look at that. It's lovely. I used to love it when I had the shop. I was just like, it's like a surprise every day. And then you're just like, where am I going to put all this?
Oh, Claire, bless her. She said, how do you do that with colours? I think she's talking about the Half Meter Heavens.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I've always loved colour, and I trained as an artist. I used to work as a scenic artist many, many years ago. But Kaif and Brandon have helped me massively with it. And
Yeah.
Brandon is so generous, and he's very happy on a Sunday afternoon. I don't do it that much anymore.
No, because I think you're more confident now, aren't you, with your
Yeah.
colour choices? And we all have a little bit of a, oh, let's try this one. What does this look like? We'll get about 4 colours out, and we'll go, no, and then we'll go, oh, yes.
And we get really excited about it. But when I first started Natasha Makes, Brandon on a Sunday afternoon would regularly be on FaceTime with me going, have you tried this one? Have you tried that one? And it's just surrounding yourself with those people, you pick it up.
Yeah, and it's knowing that sometimes there might be just a little bit of a colour in a pattern. And if you put a plane of that colour, it makes all the other colours lift.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it works. And I love the way colour works. That's one of my favourite parts of the job, is putting colours together.
Yes, absolutely. And then I wear a horrible beige. I'm not going to wear this jumper again. I don't like it anymore. It's beige. What was I thinking? Ginny says, oh dear, I must change my resolution to fabric-free February. Not managing to do it in January. Temptation is overpowering. Ginny, what were you thinking anyway?
You can't do fabric-free any month. That's impossible. I'm sorry, but yeah, just go without something else.
It was one of these things that people were saying, forget this vegan January or whatever it is.
Oh,
that
it was
people
dry
are doing.
January, wasn't it? Particularly when we announced this third lockdown and the children were going to be at home, and everyone was like, well, you can forget dry January for me now.
Yeah, that was
Where's
it. My brother was straight on the old red wine. But there was also, so for people to try being vegan, veganary or whatever it is. And
yes.
I did giggle when someone put a post going, forget that, I'm waiting for roast lambuary. Probably not the right thing to say to you as a vegetarian. No. But there we go.
Right, shall we get on with this block of the month?
Yes, go on.
Let's stop chattering. Okay. We have got, it's a 9-patch as always. We have got 4-patch blocks. We have got 3 triangle units, and we have got half square triangles.
Nice.
So we're going to I think we've probably covered all of these units before, but we'll go over them again.
Never hurts.
We say, you don't have to be part of the block of the month to try the block. You can make it into a cushion, try it with other fabrics, have a play with your colours, all sorts of things. I was looking at this block the other day and I thought, if you made a quilt with this block, if you had different fabrics here and here, so if you had one colour there and another colour there, when you put the 4 together, you would get a 4-patch going on here. So when you put those blocks together, they create something completely different.
Perfect.
So that's something else, have a look at the block, have a look. You could do different colours here, so you could have it stepped in different colours there
You could do that as an ombre or a rainbow.
Yeah.
Rachel says she's going to have a go at quilting after she's finished her grandson's PJs, which are zebras. I have to say they are absolutely gorgeous.
Wonderful.
But Rachel's dress, she makes wedding dresses, doesn't she? So,
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Rachel's dresses are amazing.
They are amazing. And how's Gary? How's he doing? Because he seems to be
making a good recovery. I saw some pictures of him the other day and he looks really
he's
quite
a fighter,
well.
isn't he?
Yeah, brilliant.
Where do you go for the Tilda bundle, please? Christine, you go onto our website, www.natashamakes.com, and
you might have to be a bit patient because I don't know if Gemma's quite got it up there yet.
Do you know what? I'm sure that Gemma will pop a link. Oh, there we go. Hi, Christine. We will let you know when it's available. Yeah, basically, Gemma was a little bit late in today because she's had to deal with teenage heartache.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse.
It's the end of it, isn't it, really?
Nothing worse.
No.
Otherwise, these would have been loaded. So we're sending big, gentle hugs out to Mini PT today because, that first heartbreak is...
It's a horrible feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 patches. This is a quick way of doing a 4-patch rather than cutting 4 small squares. We've got a 2.5-inch width of fabric of fabric A and a 2.5-inch width of fabric of fabric G. As I say, you're going to have to make 8 blocks. Something else I noticed in the pattern is that I've said repeat to make 4 4-patch units. You only use 3 in the block, but you're going to, we've cut up the whole strip. You're going to use that other 4-patch unit in your next block.
So don't put it elsewhere.
Don't think, oh, I don't need this. Chuck it over your shoulder and forget about it. Put it to one side and keep it for your next one.
Do you know the other thing I love about our viewers, Jane? Carol has come in with, got my email with the amendment in it. Your change has given us an alternative design to try. Yes. So actually what we've done is given you great value for money.
Yeah, you've got 2 blocks for one. You haven't got enough fabric in your block, in your kit, but you've got enough fabric to make these and 8 of these. You haven't got enough fabric to do that unit. Just saying.
SJ and Josh have just twigged that they've missed out on truffles because they're working from home.
Oops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any left either. Okay, so 4 patch units, width of fabric strip, 2.5 inches wide, sew them together, press the seam towards the dark side, or the darker fabric. We're then going to cut this strip up into 2.5 inch units. You can use your stripology if you have a stripology, or you can use your straightforward ruler. Now what I always say is when you're cutting a piece of fabric up into units that you have got a seam in, line your ruler up with the seam, because these edges here and here can be a bit wobbly because you'll have pressed it and it might have stretched a little bit. So that's going to be your straightest line. So line that up, trim the one edge of your strip off, get rid of those, and just flip it round. If you've got your stripology, you'll just lay it on top and you'll just
But even with the stripology, you would line up that middle, that seam line. That would be the one that you would line
the
up.
line at the bottom, which is what you usually do. And then you're going to cut it into 2.5 inch, get your ruler the right way around, Jane, 2.5 inch strips. So again, lining up that line with the seam line and then lining the 2.5 inch mark up with that lovely cut straight edge. And you'll just work your way down the strip. I think you can get 16 from a strip of fabric of 2.5 inch pieces. I'm just going to cut the 6 that I need for what I need just to do the one block. But you can do this and you can cut all the pieces that you need, and you can chain piece, and you can make all your blocks all in one go, all these units in one go. What I would say to you, if this is your first go at doing a big quilt, maybe just make one block first so you know where you are and where everything goes, and then carry on and make all the rest for the 7 more blocks that you're going to have to make, because as I say, we need 8 blocks for the quilt altogether of this block. So once you've got all the pieces together, you're just going to take one of them and you're just going to turn it around 180 degrees so it goes like that. And because you've pressed the seam to one side, your seams will now nestle together, which will give you lovely matching points. So we always work with a 1/4 inch seam. And so we can chain piece these. So you could do all of these units in one go and they wouldn't take you very long at all really, particularly when you're chain piecing. If you've got your stripology ruler, that's going to take even less time. Just move my foot round.
I love my stripology. Did I mention that? They're out of stock everywhere. At the minute, we're waiting for them to come in.
I think it's issues with shipments, isn't it, with this?
Because there isn't air freight, everything's having to come by boat, which means that whereas a lot of the ports, who was I talking to about the logistics of this the other day, and it's stuff you don't even think about. So normally air freight would be the thing, all good, excellent, be here, da 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 da. But now people are having to send it on the boats. The ports would normally say they could take 10 ships a day. Well, they've got another 10 now waiting out at sea, waiting to dock.
Come in, yeah. And
And
also,
then if the paperwork isn't correct, then it sits.
And
It's
also,
all
you
sorts
know,
of
they've
stuff.
got reduced staffing because of the situation
Of
that
course.
we're in. So, you know, they've got reduced crews and everything is just...
Well, one of my suppliers was saying that he had one shipment sit for over 2 weeks because they couldn't get a COVID-free crew.
Yeah.
So they one of them had tested, so they all had to sit and wait. But it's okay because Carol's had her jab. She's had her vaccine, so she's all good. Bit tender, but it's all right. Hi, Jess. She's a bit late, cutting out fabric. So tuned in. Gorgeous quilt, Jane. It shimmers.
Oh,
Thanks, isn't it? It's a good one.
So we've chain pieced those. We're going to just snip those apart. Now I'm going to show you, I talk about this all the time, the little twiddle I do on 4-patch blocks just to make it lie flatter.
Right.
So if we can go close up, if that's all right.
Yes.
So where the seam that I've just sewn intersects with the seam there, I'm just going to unpick those 2 stitches, just up to that line of stitching there on both sides. And what happens then is when I open this out and I would press it, when I come to press it, one lot will go down and one lot will go up.
I like that you get a little mini
And you get a little
patch
mini
in it.
4 patch in the middle there. And all that does really is it helps your fabric lie flatter when you press it, and also when you come to quilt it, there's less bulk for you to sew through, because if you're going to sew through the diagonal of your 4 patch, that middle bit, there's less fabric there. So it's a I love it. I love the way it does that. And you can do that with quarter square triangles when you do a pinwheel and things like that. So
it just feels a shame you don't ever actually see it, but you know it's there.
But you know it's there.
Well, we've had a Gary update. Rachel says that he walks as far as the village pub most days.
Brilliant.
With his single stick, which is amazing. He's about so that's about 100 yards.
That's really good. Well done, Gary.
His arm will take a little bit of time, but that is brilliant news.
Yeah, it's a
Just
shame
a
that
bit
when he gets to the pub, he
disappointing
can't
that
get
the
a. I was going to say he can't get a pint when he's there.
I tell you what, that would help his other arm recover,
Yes,
wouldn't it?
certainly. Well, that'd be good exercise.
Bit of pint lifting.
Pint lift, yeah.
I'm not sure they recommend that on the NHS.
No, I'm pretty sure that he's probably not. Alcohol intake is probably not part of his recovery programme.
But you know, it's whatever helps you get there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sally Ann, oh hello Sally Ann, says, oh, looks fabulous, Jane, doesn't
Thank
it?
you.
She's a bit of a quilting genius.
So we've got three four patch blocks. Try saying that, put your teeth in. Okay, so we're going to go to the 3 triangle unit now. Now, I have shown you in the past how to do quick 3 triangle units where you would do half square triangles, open it out, put another square on top and cut through. Because
we did that for the William Morris Kelmscott quilt, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Beautiful.
But because we need to have them all going in the same direction, you can't use that method with this, because you end up with 2 going one way and 2 going the other way if you do the quick method.
Okay.
So I've got the fabric A 5 1/4 inch square and the fabric J, I think it is. Is it fabric J? Yes, I think it is. Might not be, it might be K.
I
Yes,
don't know.
fabric
I think, are there 14 different colours of blue and green in this?
Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah,
Went a little bit mad when I was designing it.
Quite how you remember which one's which, I have absolutely no idea.
So we're going to cut these into 4 triangles through the diagonal. Just going from corner to corner, cutting through one way, adjusting our body and cutting through the other.
There's the rotating cutting mat down there if you want it.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
But yes, if you've got a rotating cutting mat, do that. It's the safest way to cut through. Always cut away from yourself, and you can see there I was actually sort of cutting towards me, but because I'd adjusted my body position, I was nowhere near the blade and I was quite in control of the triangles. I put the 2 together just because it's easier to cut them all at the same time. You know, everything's easy to save time. Now, with the fabric A on top, you want to sew these 2 triangles together down the right hand side. And I've said the right hand side, and then I was trying to do it quickly and I picked my triangle up and did it down the point, which made it on the wrong side. So when you start sewing, always start from the flat edge. So it's the right hand side with the corner, if you like, facing your right, because you need to have the triangle on the coloured triangle on the right hand side. It all makes sense. It really does, honestly.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
And again, we can chain piece these, and if you wanted to do them all in bulk, you know, do all of them, you can. But I would strongly recommend just make the 1 block to start with, so you know the process is, and it won't feel overwhelming.
Thing is, it's meant to be fun, isn't it?
It is, and you can do 1 block at a time if you want to over several weeks.
So I've had a thought, Jane, and I
Yes.
don't know why I didn't think of it before, probably because it would take ages to get here, but, what if we order a bolt of each of the colours used extra to come in. Then if anybody wants extras to make matching cushions or anything else, then we'll have it there.
We could certainly do that, I'm sure.
Should we?
I'm sure Duncan wouldn't mind at all.
Oh, there you go.
Ordering more
Okay.
fabric from him.
All right, we'll do that then. And if you think that you might want some more, maybe you've worked with this fabric and gone, gosh, that's lovely, I'd just like to have it in my stash, because that's a thing.
I have to say, and this is Northcut fabric, it's an American brand, and I think their byline is it feels like silk or something. It is beautiful fabric, and these Toscana prints are just, they're a little bit subtle, sort of like a sponged effect really. So you've got, it's not a harsh solid. I like solid fabrics, but sometimes they can be a little bit heavy in a project, and it's a bit stark. Whereas these just give a little bit of movement and softness to the project.
Oh, they really do. Elizabeth was just saying that she loved the photo of this quilt at the lighthouse.
Yes.
It was a brilliant shot, because then you've got the sea light as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what this
so
would have
lovely.
looked like down at St Ives, because the
Probably
light there is
amazing.
phenomenal, just phenomenal. Oh, hello, Heidi's back. Oh, morning, April. Or is it evening for you? Probably evening. And Debbie's just tuned in. Hello, hello, hello.
So we've got 4 triangles with all of the one fabric facing the same way. So we're going to take, we've got 2 squares here of, I think this is K. Yeah, this is K. These are 4 7/8, I think. All measurements are correct now in the pattern. We're just going to cut these in half to make half square triangles. So line your ruler up from point to point, corner to corner, and just cut through.
Beautiful.
So you then end up with 4 half square triangles.
Oh, Lynn said it's beautiful fabric. I started on block 1 yesterday. That's so exciting. I know that we haven't done these in the order that they were written up in. It kind of doesn't matter,
It
does
doesn't matter because
they all happen.
obviously we've got to make them all to make this quilt.
Yeah.
So really it was only me that put them in the order I put them in. I don't know why I put them in that order other than I just did. I think I went round and went, right, that's block 1, that's block 2. It's just that I've already said, haven't I, that what the blocks are. So
It was already written up, wasn't it?
yeah. So
Lorraine says, I'm in. I like that idea. Would be able to make matching pillows and cushions. That's just it, isn't it? I do love a matching cushion. Not going to lie.
yeah,
Bit of a
and
fan.
it does. It sometimes just finishes off your project, doesn't it? If you've got a quilt with a matching cushion or 2.
Karen's going to start her quilt this week.
And you'll find there's a block in here that you think, oh, I love this block. I love the way it works. I love the way it looks. I like making it. And you might want to just try a quilt with just that block.
Yeah.
And as I say, sometimes you can use the same block, but if you just change one of the fabrics, or, you know, as I say with that one, if you just change that colour there, when you put those 4 together, you'll have a 4 patch going on, which will create a different look again. So this is the beauty of patchwork, I think, that you can have a block, and just by changing a colour or a tone of fabric, you will get a completely different look.
This is where I would say, like, within our team, my strength is colour.
Yes.
And it's not that others can't, it's just that's what I like doing most. But you have such an eye for quilts that I just don't have. How patterns are going to come together.
Yeah.
It really is phenomenal. I just don't have it yet. Oh, there we go. Rotating cutting mat for those that need one in their life. That'll be a Gemma post, I would
Yeah.
imagine. Sounds like Gemma, because I know that she needs one in her life. Oh, Nikki says, it will help with the pieces I cut wrong to get extra fabric. Oh, bless you. Just don't throw any of the pieces that you've cut wrong away, because you can always put them into something else. That's all I would say.
Yeah. I obviously didn't line my 2 squares up when I was cutting them, so I've got 2 triangles that are slightly larger.
Do we trim it back or
it's
not?
not the end of the world, because they still fit. all I would say to you, if that should happen to you, just make sure that you line them up in the corners there, so that when you do come to sew your seam, and you'll use the top piece of fabric with the 2 patches in as your seam guide.
Nikki wants to know which rotary cutter it is that we use. So this rotary cutter, would you mind modelling it for me?
It is the Fiskars.
It is the Fiskars pivoting rotary cutter. Now,
it's quite ergonomic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is that the right
it's
word?
got 4 different ways that you can have it. So I think it's meant to help with wrist fatigue or whatever if you're cutting loads.
It's got a nice soft, it's not cushioned, but it is cushioned, so it's nice grip on it.
You can spin it around so that it looks more like a normal one. But
is that the button there?
Yes, but I tend to keep it like that. If you just spin it around, Jane, and have your hand... No, as in like spin it sideways and hold it sideways for everyone to see. So when Jane presses down, when she uses it, I mean, it's a slightly awkward angle there, but when she uses it, her weight is directly above the blade. So it means that you can cut through more layers, and it just takes any effort out of it. That's why I use it, because I regularly cut in bulk.
Lots, yeah.
And it's just fab. And if you team that up with one of the titanium blades, oh my goodness.
Yes.
It's phenomenal.
Brilliant. So we've sewn those together.
Yeah.
And we're going to press the seam towards the dark fabric, the larger triangle, just so that it hides any colour behind. Because if you pressed it the other way, you'd have a shadow under the white fabric here. I try and give you pressing instructions in your patterns, just so that you've got an idea what, I've pressed it that way for a reason.
Yeah.
Generally. Perfect. Sometimes I don't think about it and it just works, but other times I've done it for a specific reason. So you'll have 3 triangle units, and then we need the 2 half square units. And we've got the fabric C and fabric A square, right sides together. We're going to mark the diagonal on this one. So lining up your ruler again, corner to corner. When I mark, I always start in the middle and go out, just because you might drag your fabric slightly. Again, best press is your friend with patchwork, particularly when you're working on biased edges with triangles and things, because it prevents that stretching. And we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of that drawn line. So
beautiful.
And again, you can chain piece these, you can do all your marking, you can go down all one side and then it'll look like a strip of bunting, turn it around and go up the other side.
It pleases me every time.
Yes.
I get a little strip of bunting.
Yes, it's like a little set of slags.
Morning, Charlie with us this morning, and Karen as well. Good morning, good morning.
And so then we'll cut on that drawn line then. So we can line our ruler up with that marked line, point to point. And we can just cut through that. And again, we'll press the triangles to the darker fabric.
To the dark side.
To the dark side. And I always say, if you have the fabric that you want the seam to sit underneath on the top, it just makes life easier, because you know that that seam then is going to be under that fabric.
Do you know what? I don't know how long I had been quilting for, and I still had, it just doesn't click in my head to work out which way round.
Yeah.
It's really strange. Can you just oink your mic up? It's
tucked
burying
under
itself.
There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
So you'll have 2 of those units.
Lovely.
So we can start constructing the block now. So we need for row 1 and 3, and we do this all in the same direction. We need a 4 patch unit, and we need to make sure that our fabric G is running from left to right, or from the bottom right to the top left, which I've put it descriptively in an easy fashion in the instructions.
But it eludes us right now.
And then you want to make sure that your triangle, the dark triangle, is facing upwards and is against the 4 patch. so that you've got it from running from right to left. And you're just going to line your squares up and you're going to sew those together.
Perfect.
And row 3 and row 1 are the same.
Right.
So you can chain piece these 2 units.
Oh, nice. Now, Linda says she's loving the demo, but her eye keeps being drawn to the beautiful red cushion behind Jane's head.
The
that
Liberty one.
So that's made using the Flower Show Liberty fabrics that we had on yesterday with the red Wiltshire Liberty blender, which you can buy by the half metre, and the blue one, the denim one above it. You can see those piled on the dresser, ready to be taken away and cut. So I have got that pattern being written up. That is actually lovely Susie who's watching today. That's her pattern. She said, I'm just writing it up actually. So as soon as Susie's written it, it will be her pattern, but we will be able to sell it.
Looking at it, it looks like it uses half square triangle units. So I'm just showing you how to do those quickly.
Well, that's fab. So yeah, if you can do your half square triangle units, then it will be something that you'll be able to achieve, which is really lovely. And yeah, Susie's going to write up the pattern for that. So grab yourself that fabric. It was on yesterday. It's the Liberty Flower Show. And yeah, you can.
Yeah.
The long quarters would do that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think
By the looks of it, I think. But, you know, if you want an excuse for a bit of extra liberty, then go for the half metre bundle. And Jackie says that she's enjoying spending time learning with you today whilst making Jane's Allcock's Folded All-Star. Allcock's All-Star is what it will be called if we bring it back next year.
Yeah. So you'll have these 2 units here. So you want to keep the 4-patch unit on your left-hand side. And now you're going to attach your half square triangle to the side of your 3 triangle unit. So your white fabric is going against the pale green fabric. And because we've pressed these seams to one side, we can actually nestle the seam here so that when you come to sew that, your points will be in line with each other. And that's always helpful. So you can nestle those seams together and just sew your 1/4 inch seam straight down.
Sonia says, will there be any demonstrations of foundation piecing at some stage? Yes.
Yes, we've got plans for foundation
There's
piecing
always plans. And EPP as well.
Yeah, all sorts of other techniques.
EPP is happening first because I've had a beautiful, beautiful pattern come my way and I've put my own little spin on it. Jane's smirking because she's seen the spin. It's a bit gorge, isn't it?
It's a bit gorgeous.
It is a bit gorgeous. I can't wait. And Susie says pattern writing is top of her list. There you go, you see?
There we go. So we're going to press those. Now we press the seam in towards the dark triangle. And because when we do a 9-patch, we press the seams facing each other on one way and going out on the other way. So these 2 seams are going to face inwards. So we're just pressing that seam that way and that seam that way. Now the more observant of you may have noticed that this unit is slightly smaller than the other 2, and that's because I didn't check when I was cutting it that the squares were lined up, but we can lose that in the seam. It'll be fine.
These are all the things we need to know because
I was going to say
it happens.
It does happen, and you don't need to panic too much. I mean, if it's a huge difference, then yeah, maybe we need to make more, and you will take more time and concentrate better than I'm doing when you come to make your unit. So you'll be fine. So we've got row 1, and then this is row 3, and the simplest thing about row 3 is you just rotate it.
Oh,
so
nice.
It goes the other way. And then we've got row 2, which is the middle row. Now, at this point, you really do need to make sure that your 4-patch units follow through. So you've got them facing the right way.
Oh, okay, they've got that diagonal hitching.
Yeah, so you've got the pattern going. It's not the end of the world if it goes the other way, but the whole point of the pattern and the quilt is that these form sort of a row around which sort of frame the whole thing, so you get that diamond effect. And you're going to have
Oh yes,
one of your...
it's there, but it's subtle.
Yes, you don't necessarily see it
No.
straight away.
That's
It's
what
one
I
of
love
those
about your quilt.
illusions. Yeah,
It's one that we can look at. I mean, it doesn't help that it's crumpled on one side
No,
because
it's-
I can't
it's
quite.
too big for the wall, really. Bless it.
We'll just have to get a bigger wall.
Yeah,
Jane.
that's what we'll do. But yeah, it's got a sort of, when you look at it from a distance, there's a sort of a circular shape in the middle, and then it radiates out, and it's sort of framed with this block forms a frame around it going round.
I tell you what, Beryl's smarf goes a treat with
She
it.
blends in beautifully, doesn't she, today?
Her smarf that she's got on, just in case anybody's interested, is actually, it's the only Liberty smarf that I had made.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful
It's
blue.
such a subtle fabric. It's almost like a weave
Yeah.
effect. Not the fabric, the print.
It's from one of my favourite collections. It was the one that had all of the treasures, all of the rocket men and the stars, and I found another couple at my suppliers yesterday. Another couple of bolts of the
lovely.
because I want to do kids storage, and Freddie and Emily still use their kids storage that I made out of that. So I'm like, actually, it is really lovely. But that was the only Liberty fabric that I had at the time to send off to have ready-made smarfs. So that is a Liberty ready-made smarf for under 20 quid.
Amazing. It's beautiful as well, and it's the sort of colour that will go with most things.
Could you imagine that with the denim jacket?
Yeah,
Nice.
look really nice. And you know, if you've got senior school children that have to wear a mask for school, that would go with school uniforms as well, wouldn't it? You know, it's the sort of thing that'll go with everything, and it's semi-masculine. So you know, the man in your life could get away with wearing that with no hassle.
Absolutely.
Right. So we've got this 4-patch unit and we've got 2 triangle units, and we want to make sure that the triangles are facing towards the 4-patch unit but in opposite directions, and you want it so that it's called spinning star, this block, and we want it so that the triangles are going spinning round. You don't really want to have that going on. You could, because it makes a different pattern, and it wouldn't detract from the actual pattern on the quilt here either. It would carry on that diamond shape.
Let's just
So, you know, you might prefer that way round. It's entirely up to you. It's your quilt. But for my...
So basically, if you accidentally sew it that way, don't worry. It's just
if you
a
do
design
sew it
choice.
that way, just make sure all the other blocks are sewn the same way.
Yeah. Carol has a question. She said, can anyone tell me what the numbers are for on the rotary blades? Now, I have my own idea on this.
Oh, and I suppose you could see, couldn't you? Are they centimetres? Is it to give you an idea of...
When you do, when you make your own chenille, when you do your own chenille cutting,
Yes.
the blade, it's a rotary cutter blade, but it stays put in one place.
Yes.
So when that bit of the blade becomes blunt, you turn the blade round, and you turn it round by one of those marks.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's the only time I've ever used those marks is with a chenille cutter.
Yeah.
Whether that was why they were there, Carol, don't know, but that's how I use it. Gemma has put up the Tilda collections. So if you want to shop ahead and get the whole Woodland collection, and this is, you know, you're getting the buttons thrown in for free if you grab that. And with the chambray, we've put a discount on for the chambray. I probably should have mentioned that. If you want all of those, whether you are a Tilda lover or not, the chambrays are divine.
They're so versatile as well, aren't they?
They
Because they
are.
can be used in so many other projects.
The colour, the tone, just exquisite. The quality is amazing. Now, the thing to bear in mind with the Tilda fabric, and she's one of very few designers who obviously have their fabric coming out of this particular mill. Normally, you'd expect anywhere between 6 and 9% shrinkage on cotton fabric, wouldn't you, Jane?
Yeah, around about that. That's about an average sort of...
6, 7, 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are less than that. You know, the
Well, the
more
Tilda...
closely woven fabrics tend to shrink less.
So for the last, I think it's 3 designs now from Tilda Design Collections. Not only are they OTA Tex standard, so you can use them for children's sleep, where there's no nasty chemicals at all in the dye process. Really beautiful quality fabrics.
Yeah.
Shrinkage, half, 3 to 4%.
Wow.
It's phenomenal.
That's really good.
Absolutely phenomenal.
That is really good.
She changed mills, and this is the upshot of it,
Yeah.
which is just brilliant. And it's since then that I've started making dresses and stuff for Emily out of the Tilda fabrics, because
Yeah.
I just think they're
Because
gorgeous.
they're not going to shrink. That's brilliant.
Well, and also they're safe. They're really safe with little ones.
Yeah. So you've done row 2.
Yes.
Just place it back into your block just to check this, because if you have it the other way, those triangles still go round and it will still work. But it's just making sure when you come to sew this on that you sew that the right way and you don't have the white one up here, that they're still going. So if you've got it the right way, whichever way you turn it, it will fit into the pattern. Now I've pressed the seams towards the large triangle again. So these seams face outwardly and these seams face inwards, so that when I put these two together, the seams there are going to interlock.
Perfect.
So I'm just going to have to do a little bit of jiggery pokery on this other one down here because
We love a bit of jiggery pokery.
I just didn't cut that
Jane,
properly
if you
in
have
half.
not had to jiggery poke some fabric around, are you even a quilter?
Well, this is it. The beauty of this is that, you know, when you make it into a quilt, nobody's actually going to see the inside. So it doesn't matter what your seams look like.
Oh, Sarah's had to go. She's got to go again. We'll catch up later. Enjoying the demo. Thank you, Natasha, for the inspiration and brightening up my day. My absolute pleasure. We still need to talk saddles, don't we? And Karen's made so many of your folded stars. She loves them. She hearts them very much.
That's lovely.
They are beautiful. I made one out of the cave on a Hochanda show. Looked divine.
It did. It was gorgeous.
I alternated a cave with a plain.
Which just set it off beautifully.
In fact, it's on the desk to be made up into a full cushion, isn't it? I just did the front.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, and then we're going to just add row 3 on the same way. So, again, because we've pressed those seams in and those ones face outwards, they're going to interlock, and you're going to get that to join beautifully. And this one sits together better than the other one because the triangles are the right size.
Oh.
And what I will also say to you is, you've got the triangles at the end, and again, the seam will interlock. Now, if you want to pop a pin in just along the seam line, just to hold it, you can do that. Even though the seams are interlocking, if you don't quite, you know, if you're still learning, just put the pin in along that seam line just to hold it in place as you sew. It helps you feel more confident. I'm terrible for not pinning things and just, you know, going for it, but I know that some of us like to be a little bit more accurate and feel happier if it's pinned, and that's fine.
Do you know what, Jane? This is the really weird thing. I used to have such an aversion to pins. But actually, the more experienced I become, the more I'm pinning.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I think as you get more confident with things, you get more worried about points matching and things going together properly, and so you probably do pin more. Whereas when you're at the beginning, you're just like, oh, I'm enjoying this, I'll just put that together, and quite often it works perfectly fine. But I do think the more experience you get, the more worried you get about those finer details.
Yeah.
I think when you're first doing it, you're just so happy that you've made something that you're not really too worried about points matching and whether you've missed the top point of your triangle and things like that. And that's
Or
the
it's not
beauty
even
of
something
it.
that you even know
No,
about.
that you don't know about it. So yeah, it's all the fun of getting to know the
Can you pull
process.
your mic out again? It wants to delve in, doesn't it, this morning?
It's probably because it's a little bit, I pulled it.
Have you pulled it a bit tight?
Yeah.
Oh, Naomi P's internet's just dropped out.
Oh dear.
Oh, she's giving it a good talking to. That'll do it. That'll do
I
it.
think people's internets a lot of people's internets have had a good talking to over the last 9 months, haven't they?
Yeah.
Goodness me, aren't we happy that we've got internet in these times?
Do
So
you know
there
what?
you go, there's
yeah.
your block. And as I say, if you put them together like this, you're going to get
Oh, nice.
another pattern going on here. So as I said, if you wanted to alternate those colours there, you'd have a 4 patch going on here and you'd have another 4 patch going on here if you used a different colour. So by using the same block, you can create
Yeah.
different patterns, and this is the beauty of it. You know, this
You
works
sketch it out,
beautifully
don't
in
you?
there.
You sketch it out on squared paper.
Yeah, I've got a lovely book that I've got that's got lined paper and squared paper and plain paper. So I'll draw something out that I like the idea of, then I go to the square part and then plot it out, and then I can write on the instructions about
Have you
this, that,
seen
and the other.
what's sitting in the box waiting to come in? Yeah, I think it's going to be a game changer for lots of people. So all I would say is, because a few people saying, oh, I've tried to do my own patterns, I've got something coming for you that you are going to need. It's not going to break the bank,
No,
but it's going to help
it's lovely
you
to have.
be a
And-
designer.
And you know, we're all into mindfulness, and at the moment particularly it really helps us with our mood. And even just a square pad and some crayons, just having a play, absorbs you. You get absorbed in it and your mind just drifts away and you forget about all the worries and everything else. And that just, you know, half an hour a day just doing that
Perfect.
is lovely. So yeah, that's the block. As I say, you're going to need to make 8 of these ones. All in the instructions. You've got the amendment in your email. When we send out the next block, you'll get a paper copy, which I suggest you take straight away and pin to the front of these instructions so you've got them with you for next time that you might want to use the block.
Oh, hang on. Leslie says, I think I'm a bit slow on the uptake. When Jane did the stitch magic thing in the middle of the square to make them flat, I missed the close-up. Can we see it again?
Yes.
Have you got it there just to hand?
Let me do it. I'll demonstrate again because I've got some more here. So you'll have your 4 patch. You'll cut 2 units, the same size, 2.5 for this pattern. And this works for any size 4 patch, you know, it doesn't have to be this small one. You can do it for bigger pieces. You could even do it in this quilt to a degree. You could undo those and you could turn those ones the other way as well with your big 9 patch. It works the same way. So you'll put your 2 together. It only works if you've got your seams facing in opposite directions.
Right.
It doesn't work if you've got your seams facing the same way.
Okay.
So this is the seam that you're doing to join the 2 units together. So we're still on close-up.
Oh, yes. There you
Okay,
go.
so that's the seam we've just made. And we're going to unpick these stitches here. There might only be 1, there may be 2, there might not even be any. So those couple of stitches there, flip it over, and the couple of stitches on the opposite side. And then when you press that, you'll press it up and away, and one goes down and one goes up.
It's magic.
So it looks like that.
There you go, Leslie. You
Okay,
ask and
does that help?
we do it for you. There we go.
So you can do that with your finger press it, and then when you take it to the ironing board, you can just press that down then in the middle. You might want to just turn it over just to make sure that it's gone as tight as it can go to the seam line.
Perfect.
But then you've got a lovely, neat, take it back up,
Go on.
just showing off now. You've
Well,
got a
yeah,
lovely, neat little 4 patch.
Just needed to check it was perfect. Oh, yeah, we can
there
have
we
a close-up.
go. There we go.
There you go.
So it just, all it does is reduces the bulk in the middle there. So when you're coming to sew, you know, do your quilting and you're going across that diagonal there, it's going to sit flatter. It sits flatter in your quilt, and then as I say, the quilting, it will sit flatter there when you're sewing over it. It won't go bumpy.
There you go.
Just
Leslie
a
says
little-
thank you very much. She's watched closely.
Bless her.
Do you know what I forgot to say? Lots of people yesterday asked about the pattern for the quilt, the beautiful Liberty quilt that was hanging up behind us yesterday.
Mhm.
I've shared a link for the free pattern download.
Wonderful.
So that is on my Facebook page. It's on my Natasha Makes page. It's on my Natasha McCarthy page.
Yeah, because it's a nice block, and you wouldn't have to make it as big as that one. You could make it a few blocks smaller. And
the fabric that we had on the show yesterday is the fabric that you need for that quilt.
yeah,
So we had everything there. When you do the half meter heaven, when do the half meter heavens go live? They go live at midnight tonight. I would really love the cave stripe to go with the fabric I bought last week, along with the gorgeous chambrays. Of course, Joe.
I think there's going to be a lot of people sitting up till midnight tonight to go to the website.
I know. I'm fast
There'll be some
asleep by then.
tired people tomorrow. Right. Yeah, so that's your block for this one. It's called block 5. It's called the Spinning Star, and you need to make 8 of them.
Jane,
Mm-hmm.
talking of stars,
Mm-hmm.
do you want
Shall
to?
I
Would you like to share with the group?
This is what
Look
we're going
at
to be
this!
doing next week. This is just the quilt front. I've got to quilt it yet. Are you ready?
You are so proud of this, with every good reason. Ah! Oh, Tula Pink at her finest.
This is
Via
some gorgeous
Jane.
fabric that Natasha had in a while ago, and I was like, can I have that? Can I use it? Can I use it? And she was like, yeah, go on then. And I just knew that I wanted to do this with it.
Do you know what, Jane? I haven't told you this. I mean, firstly, can I just say, stunning. And secondly, I've got a whole load more of that fabric coming.
Oh wow, that's brilliant! Because I
In
was
different
like,
colours
oh, wow,
as well.
We can make enough, units to make the quilt really.
I saw it and went, yes, I'll have that. All I've got to work out now is with the new import whatevers is how to actually get it here, because it's coming from Europe.
Yeah.
But we'll get it.
Yeah.
It'll arrive, and so yeah, this will be next week.
Next week's. Yeah.
And so any fabric that we have left over, what we will do is offer that by the half meter for you, so that you can have that cut to order. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Everyone, just yeah, just gorgeous. You are a clever lady.
I've had good teachers.
Yes, you are. But that's just it, isn't it?
Yes.
I had good teachers. Doesn't mean to say I'm good at everything.
No.
It's
the love of it. It's somebody teaches you something and you get it, and then you want to do it, and by doing it you then try and experiment and move things around and go, what happens if? And that's what it is, isn't it? That's when you love something. And I do love it. I'm so lucky to do what I do.
I heart that.
It is
very,
gorgeous.
very much. That's up there with the CAFE one that we did the other week. Just Fiona says, oh wow, yes please, the Tula and Lone Star quilt. Ali says it's very pretty. Helen says no Y seams, yay!
Yeah, no Y seams.
Leanne says super pretty. Karen, wow. Susan, that's beautiful. Wow, love the star. Oh my word, that's amazing. And Adam is sat next to his mum going, Mummy, you made that.
I've obviously done one the same. And it's a classic pattern.
It's beautiful, really beautiful.
I've not reinvented the wheel or anything.
You've done it very beautifully.
But we've chosen some lovely colours.
If wheels were beautiful, it would be that one.
Yeah.
Do we have a page where people can show their finished projects? Yes. If you send your finished makes to info@natashamakes.com, we will add it to our community page, which is on our website.
We always love to see what you've made.
We do.
It's inspiring because it just gives us the influence to go and keep going.
Yes.
Yes. When we know that you love what we do, it just inspires us to do more, which is lovely.
This Friday,
Dun, dun, dun,
we wanted to do
roll.
something special for Fridays because it's the only day we don't really, that and maybe the weekends we don't always do all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've had a little think. We thought about doing some fat quarters and calling it Fat Friday.
Which as we all feel at the moment is probably not the best thing to talk about.
We were like, oh no.
Yeah.
But then we had a few happy accidents with the fabric, in terms of just some happen to be next to others that look beautiful, which was the inspiration for the K Fusion show we did last week.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to start doing Fusion Fridays.
Oh, I've seen some and it is gorgeous.
Which basically means we're going to mix it up with designers and put 3, possibly 4 different half meters together that we know colour-wise will work. That, again, because it's so hard, everyone's shopping online. So hopefully by now you trust us with colour.
Yeah, I think we're quite good at it now.
So, and mix up your designers and give you full permission to cheat on your favourite designers with other beautiful designers. So that is going to be a thing. Becky, they will be Fabulous Fridays. They're not going to be Fat Fridays. They're going to be Fabulous Fridays. They're going to be
Fusions.
Fusion Friday, Fabric Fusion Friday, starting this Friday.
Exciting.
We're just going to start with a few just to start you off. So do look out like that. They'll be up like we do the half meter heavens. And also I have a cracking deal that's going online today with those clamp on white lights.
Brilliant.
And it's battery one, this one.
Wow.
Gemma's actually nicked my my one that I normally have in here. I saw that she had that on her desk this morning, which is why I've forgotten to bring it in to show you on air today. But just check out the deals page. These are all going up on the deals page. But it is a great light to work under, especially as we're bringing you some hand sewing. So I'll drop the price on those for you so that you can get them ahead of time. Susan says Fusion Friday, fabulous. There we go.
Lovely.
That's it.
Short but sweet today.
Yeah, we'd better go and eat
Get
some.
cutting.
Oh, get cutting.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think there's any truffles left.
Are they not?
Oh, gone.
No way!
They're a bit moreish. And I wonder why I put on all this weight.
You've done me a favour then. Thank you very much for taking that truffle-shaped bullet. Pam said we definitely trust you with colours. Well, thank you. That's a big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gemma says yep on my desk. It's like me. It's small but mighty. Gemma is small but mighty.
She is. She's perfect.
Yes.
Perfect in every way.
Yes. Right, my loves. We will see you Monday. I'd love to show you. Well, we might have Helen McCook if she's feeling well enough next week because she's out of isolation and all being well. Well, she's out of isolation as of tomorrow. So as long as she feels up to it, I know she's eager to come. But obviously her health has to be our priority. So if she doesn't feel up to it, we've got a standby show if she's not up to it. But otherwise she'll be there. And then what else?
Just more gorgeousness, I expect.
Oh my goodness, there's so much to come. It's just putting it in the right order, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have a lovely rest of the week. I'm on Hochanda tomorrow and Friday.
You're a busy lady.
Oh, I'll get around. In the nicest possible. That sounds dodgy, doesn't it? I'm going to go before I drop myself in it. Everyone take care. Jane and I will see you next week. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.